people anticipating with the current situation? Like, what do we say to our leads in this time? And some people are 100% comfortable with that, and they're just having their general conversation. Some of them are scared that, they're disrupting them. It doesn't serve them any justice, and it seems tacky. And some I've heard that come from people thinking that it's tacky if we're trying to do this right now. And what has your experience been so far?
I've had better conversations than I've had in years, and I've had more people answering the phone. So I'm going to negate all of that. It's all in your mindset. Because, if you view it as a negative, that means you're going at it with the wrong intention. And I can only say that because I've been in those places before, and those have been my excuses. So now I have an excuse. I don't have to call my leads. I can't call my leads right now. Right? Yeah. I have a great excuse.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have to make lemonade from our lemons. And if we come from a place of empathy, we come from a place of love and caring, how can they perceive us as trying to be pushy? Because everybody wants to know what's going to happen in the real estate market, especially since we've had such the crash after 2008. Today, going into the unknown, we have awareness of what happened previously, where in 2008 nobody expected it. It just freaking happened, and it was just a complete wash, and we were making things up as we were going because nobody knew what the hell to do. But now the banks are all reaching out, and they're trying to be so proactive with helping people before they get to that point of desperation, where before I wasn't hearing from people until they were 3 months behind on a mortgage. And it was almost too late to save some people. So with this fact, we have such a, benefit of just awareness to not let what happened last time happen again. And I see the banks jumping in. And is it going to happen? It may. But what they're trying to do now is just spread out the people not being able to pay their mortgages over time, so everything doesn't happen at one time. So there's so much awareness that's going on right now, and people are. I've been training my agents that I'm coaching with right now to reach out to their sphere, reach out to their past clients, and really engage and say, are you okay? I was thinking about you. I just want to make sure things are okay. Is your house going to be okay? Do you have any questions about the market? Are there any resources or any connections I can help you with? It's and people want to talk right now because we're all starving socially. I just want to hug.
There's all these people that are
and not ask them, can I shake your hand? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a lot of people talking. I see it posting on, I'm going to have a party after this, like an anti-social distancing party, just because they've been cooped up and not having that, to say the least, right? So, people are definitely, and even from our perspective, when we're reaching out to clients for various things, they're just 100% that much more talkative. Your anticipated 5-minute call turns into 30 minutes. So it's, if you're finding yourself doing that, the leads themselves are most likely doing that as well. It's someone new to talk to. Some cases, some of them probably will vent to you about various circumstances and so on. So,
and I've even been calling leads in second home markets. I have a client that I'm working with in Breckenridge, Colorado, and almost all those homes that people buy are for rental purposes. And what we have to remember is all of these second home areas and rental areas, they don't have the income right now because everyone's canceled reservations. And calling the leads, I've just created a new tag that when I'm calling them, I'm like, a year ago, 2 years ago, you were interested in receiving homes that were for sale in the Breckenridge area. I'm just wondering, do you have an interest to what's happening to the economy in Breckenridge? They're like, well, things are on hold right now. I said, well, understandably so. I totally get it. I would be a little upset if you'd be buying right now because it wouldn't make much sense. But do you want to stay up to date? And this is where you can really take advantage of becoming that market expert, because it's not just about the houses. It's about your restaurants. It's about your stores. It's about your community, how they're being affected. which is in turn going to affect the market. But all the leads that you have been generating over the years, you now have a reason to reach out to them and update them on what's happening abroad. Be your own newscaster, because people are hungry for positivity. Don't go on there and be a doomer and gloomer, but go on there and give hope. Go on there and say, this business is making it. This business is doing this. You can really embrace and support your communities right now and make a difference.
Absolutely. Karen, so Karen is on here. So Karen, you're on here, correct? Or Karen on
I don't
here?
know about Karen, but are you Crystal, right?
Yes, yes. So Neha, you're on here, but Karen might not be on here. That's okay, absolutely. Yeah. So they were, you know, busy following up with leads, and I said, okay, hold off on calling the leads. So Beverly has some people to call, because they were staying right on top of it. And one of the questions when I was speaking, I think to Karen, was like, they weren't quite sure what to say to these people. You know, the delivery of that, you know, Neha is going to start training into doing this for them, and what's the appropriate way to go about it. And I thought, well, you know what, lead by example. Nonetheless, is watch and learn, because I find even just from watching Beverly, it's definitely a lot easier to mimic someone in what they're delivering than it is to try to read, you know, a piece of paper that someone says, we'll just cover these when you're calling someone. So it kind of worked out to, you know, an advantage that you guys happen to be in that situation at the right time, kind of thing. So,
so does Beverly also work for AgentLocator? Sorry, I'm new here. And
No. So Beverly does not work for AgentLocator. We have Beverly on twice a month, and she helps clients. And, you know, whether we're helping you guys directly, or if you guys are just watching these webinars, just by, you know, how to contact leads and what you should be saying to them and what information you should be grabbing from those leads when you are contacting them. And because again, I like Beverly will say, is the more you gather, the more powerful you are. You'll know exactly how and when to siphon them through that sales process, whether it's in 2 weeks from now or 2 years from now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I'm not just some fly-by-nighter that just likes to make phone calls. I built a business on internet lead generation, and I've been working internet leads since 2008, and I've been training in the internet lead world since 2012.
Okay.
So this is my jam.
Amazing.
I love having conversations with people. So Crystal, I pulled up, you know, I always have to go in and look at my list. What leads do they want us to focus on right now? Do we want to focus on, are they utilizing the new landing page? Are we going to be calling those leads? Do we want to call new leads, or do we want to call old leads?
We're calling leads that they have yet to make any connections with. So the ones that are still on new lead or tried to contact, essentially those leads there, trying to make that initial connection. And then I guess where you typically go into asking them about their situation, or obviously it might be a little bit different right now, is having that COVID landing page. And because there's obviously going to be people that from your experience that are interested in understanding what's happening to the real estate market surrounding them and how it might affect them.
Yeah. So I didn't know if they wanted me to go, because it gets really interesting whenever you're calling leads that have been in here for 8-9 months that you haven't connected with, because those are the weird ones to call, right? If they just registered over the last week or so, they're still looking. So nothing's really changed with them. I didn't know which, you know, which way you wanted me to go. So I did.
Anyone that's sitting there.
I did. And I think what you had said in your email, Crystal, we have the blur on here, but it's blurred to the point that I can't even see the name if I make the dials, right?
Exactly. Okay, so they weren't able to do a patch on that.
Share your screen. What I pulled in the pipe, I did pipeline, not set, new lead, tried to contact, phone validity, unknown valid, and I have 22 leads in here.
Okay, so you have the pipeline SRA. So pipeline is not set, new lead, tried to contact, and the phone validity is valid?
Yep, valid and unknown.
Okay.
And I have 22.
Yeah. valid unknown.
And Karen is on. She's
And
muted.
perfect.
Karen, is
Yes.
this a good list? Does this work for you? Let me just pop in the chat. Yeah, that's great. Cool. All right, now I have to minimize this screen so I can see my own screen.
Yeah, there you go. And so Karen, just so you do know, obviously as we're going through things, if Beverly is doing it or actioning on any leads, it will show in here, and she typically will tag them so that you can clearly identify which lead she actually connected with during this.
There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm like losing my mind here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I feel like I'm sharing my own screen, so I'm looking at my All right, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the very first lead, and we're just going to start rolling with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, feel free, everyone, to ask questions and pop in the chat, and as we go along. Now, I see this lead is assigned to Rashida. Who is the main agent? I didn't even look at the agent's name.
It's Rashida.
I think they all stay under Rashida.
So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do the long call that I usually do on the very first dials. I'm just going to go ahead and do my 23-second rule so that we can.
Okay. Perfect.
So for those of you that may be new to what I'm talking about, the very first dial that I make, I always let it go the entire way to voicemail, just to determine, because third-party dialers don't all the time detect that it's a bad phone number. So if it goes the whole way through and doesn't connect, I like to make that manual dial to see if it's a bad phone number.
Sure.
Hello? It just stopped ringing. That was weird. So that's one of those I would do a manual dial with, because it rang once and then it just kind of went goofy on me. And then the other thing that I'm looking for in that first initial dial is there a name on the voicemail that is the same as the lead name? Because a lot of times they'll put a partner's name or their mother's name or someone else's name. And if you make a note of that, when you get in touch with that person, you can call them by the name that was on the voicemail and not the name of the lead.
Right.
You can go through that connection much easier.
This is Andrew Schleiman. Please leave a message.
That was a good number. So I just made a quick note, good number, name on voicemail. And Crystal, if you want to show them, if you want to scroll down where I like to put that so that, because our notes don't stick to the top.
You're putting it right here in the lead description area.
Yeah.
So the lead description area, for all you guys watching, this is a great spot to put in those important notes that you may need to refer to each and every time. Because this list right here, where you log in all your notes and calls, the more actions you're taking on that lead, those important notes are just going to keep pushing down. So if you're going to feel like you're going to reference that each and every time, just throw it in this lead description, and then you know it's there.
Yeah.
And if you want to scroll down, you may see an HHH, HHJ. I don't know what you see on your screen there, because I'm looking at
with the name or what have you?
It's about the fourth one down. Yeah, that was a fast busy, and it is a bad email. So that one, I just marked it as a wrong number.
Yeah.
Because it was a fast busy. Those are the only leads that I approve to go to trash.
Because there's no way of communicating.
Yep. And that's just part of cleaning up your dashboard. Okay, why am I getting all these errors? I just got like 5 errors. And it won't let me do. Okay, let me see if I can dial now. What in the? It won't let me dial. Device not ready. Error. Device error.
Maybe hit refresh and see if that.
Error. What in the world? Is it because we're both in?
It shouldn't, because I do well, it might from time to time.
I refresh. Let's see what happens. Nope, error. I'm getting like 5 of them. Device error, please contact support if this problem persists. I'm contacting support. I got a direct line to Crystal.
Yeah, like mine is working. That's weird. Like when I pull up the dialer. Let's just see. Unfortunately, we're having a matter.
Let me try it again. There we go. Oh. Yeah, this is a 647-888 number, so this is a bad number too. And I always do put in the notes what exactly happened because I don't like to see wrong phone numbers without any notes.
Yeah.
Because then inquiry mind's got to know and I call it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
John Smith, I wonder if that's really his name.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to a voicemail service that has not been initialized.
Oh, so we don't even have a
Guess
name.
we won't find out.
We won't find out either. And I'm looking at the email address trying to make it out. And I'm like, I'm trying to pull a name out of the email address. I'm not quite convinced that.
Just a minute, guys. Crystal, I know
Yes.
I can see the agent locator screen on my screen, but I understand that some things are blurred. But I have access to the account and it's not making me very comfortable that why these things are blurred. So can we change that?
Well, we have it blurred.
Public.
You don't want the public to know all the names and contact information of your leads.
Okay, there are other participants too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's only blurred for this webinar for that purpose.
Okay.
There's like, right down here, you have this little blur option. So it adds, like, for example, it adds and removes the blur.
Okay, I understand. No worries.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give an example on this one. We're 22 seconds
The number
in.
you have reached is not in service.
So that was 20 seconds before we heard the first ring. And the number wasn't in service. And when I see 23 seconds, we may not hear the ring on our end, but it's ringing on the other end. So my 23-second rule is when I was talking about my very, very first dial, I let go the whole way to voicemail, but every dial after that is 23 seconds because it's 4 rings. And just because if my cell phone's ringing more than 4 times, I'm annoyed by the time I get to it. So I'm trying to end a conversation, or my hands are full, or it's not a convenient time. I'm dashing across my condo. I'm not going to have a great conversation. So I'm looking for those people that are answering their phone right away. So when they answer, they say, I'm in a meeting, I can't talk. And I'm like, well, why did you answer your phone? And, you know, the hopes of what people are seeing right now, I've already discounted 2 or 3 to bad phone number. So we initially started with 22, and I'm now on dial 6 of 19, which means I've made 9 dials already. And how quick of a time frame?
We're 20 minutes in.
Somebody answer the phone.
I know.
They're calling
We're
me.
all at home.
Oh, I'm getting more answers until we get on the webinar. And I have been in my Facebook group, Fix Your CRM. I have been dialing live in there, and I've been I popped up one of my recordings of a conversation I had discussing kind of what's going on with the market. So if you go in Facebook to Fix Your CRM and request to be in the group, I'm dropping some great tips to encourage dialing right now, because I know we open up our dashboard and we have all great intentions, and
You have reached 416-819.
and then we overthink it and we talk ourselves out of why we shouldn't be calling. And I get it. I've so been there.
We definitely overthink things sometimes. Do it for ourselves.
Well, especially when it's something that we're not comfortable with in the first place. The first time we can find any excuse to not do it.
Yes.
But yeah, I have clients I'm coaching all over the United States, and listings are still coming on the market. Contracts are still happening. You know, one thing that I didn't even think about was it's actually initiating additional sales, because if you had some of these healthcare workers that were living with family that have elderly or children, they don't want to live in those circumstances. So like, I got to get out now. I got to buy something now. And just situations that we don't even think about.
Yeah, there's all different situations happening out there right now.
Well, and we only know what we know. We only know the stories that we've experienced. Yeah, we're almost done with this list.
I know, right?
So I'm going to suggest going to some older leads. I'll pull another list whenever we get done here. We don't have 8 more dials.
I'm not able to answer your call, but if you could.
Is there a holiday up there in Canada today? What is going on?
It is. No, the holiday is on Friday, so I don't know what's going on. What, are you on number 11 or 12?
I am on 12 of 19. Oh, and there's a note in here. Daughter translated says mom already hired a different agent. So why? Oh, you know what I bet happened? If the phone conversation isn't long enough, it doesn't automatically move it to a contacted stage. So
no, I think they might have moved it back, because it doesn't, like, even if you manually log a call, it is going to move. And let me just double check the pipeline. No.
Yeah, it's in try to contact. It's actually a not set.
Yeah. And then it shows that they've talked to the lead, which is interesting enough.
Yeah, so it was not set on 3/12, but they talked to him on 2020 or 2020 on 2/20. So I'm just going to move this one to contacted and put has agent. Oh, I see the labels. I love it. Now I'm looking for Waldo. Okay, found Waldo. All right. So we got that one placed. You got some great names that I can't say in this statue. Fast busy. Now, if it's a fast busy and it has a good email, I will let it go. I take that note 3 times. After the 3rd time, I go ahead and move it, because once in a while, the circuits are just busy. And I'm actually finding that more. I don't know if y'all are finding out that your phones are just kind of acting a little goofy right now because there's so many more people on the phone.
With internet service, a lot of people are finding that that's not, they're not getting as fast a speeds as they normally do, because there's ions and ions of people.
I'm so pleasantly pleased with Zoom, because the amount of people that are using Zoom right now.
Hello.
Julia?
Yes, who is
Hi, this is Beverly. I'm just on a quick phone call. You were online looking at homes in the Bari area a couple months ago, and just wondered if you were thinking about maybe making a move, or kind of what your situation is right now.
I'm working with a realtor already, sorry.
Oh, you have an agent? You've committed to him, and you love him and you trust him?
Yes, she's been my boss for 10 years now. Sorry, thank you for the call.
You're welcome, Julia. Bye-bye. She's been my boss. Huh.
you wonder, so why are you going online registering on other websites if your boss is a realtor? Interesting.
Very interesting, huh? All right, so we're moving that one to talk to lead. So in my mind, there is a difference between buyer lost has an agent and future opportunity has an agent. Like, she's going to be using her boss. You don't have a best chance in hell of getting that lead.
The only thing is she has to fall apart with her boss because they let their emotions get into the way of the actual business transaction.
Exactly. So lo and behold, the one that answered the phone.
Yes.
But hey, it shows you that people are still looking because she logged in 70 days ago. Well, she was last active 70 days ago. Let me see when she actually, yeah, lead from 70 days ago. She registered January 29th. So let me add tag to her, has agent. So yeah, we're on 14 of 18 and look at how much we've cleaned up. And I look at cleanup as a win because you don't have to call them again. And we're finding out the bad phone numbers. And if you have a bad phone number campaign, you're able to activate those.
You've reached.
And that did not match the name I'm seeing, and I couldn't even understand what he said. I'm moving everything all around my screen here. There we go. The picture boxes have been a problem today. They're like, it was right, I couldn't move the dialer box. Oh. Hello, Renata?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Beverly doing a quick check-in. It looks like you were online a little while ago and you were looking at some homes in the Vaughan area. Wondered what your situation was. And
no, I'm not interested anymore. Thank you so much.
Any more at all? What about your future plans, Renata?
There's no future plans right now. So
no.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, do you own or do you rent right now?
I rent.
And are you in a month to month or are you in a lease term?
1 year lease. I just started. So
okay, so I guess in a grand scheme, are you thinking about if everything went in alignment with your hopes and dreams, would you like to be in something next year maybe?
No, it's okay. It will take probably a couple of years now. So
okay, Renata, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye. So those of us that are making excuses for calling leads, it didn't even come up. But do you see how I kept pushing? Like she's like, okay, bye. I'm like, but, okay, bye, but. Yeah. So now we know where to put her and the level of she's 2 to 3 years out. And I didn't have to keep pushing because I can almost guarantee you I'm calling in Canada. She's saving up for money for a down payment. Am I right or am I wrong?
You are probably right.
All right, so she just signed a new lease for 1 year. Not looking for a few years. So I would mark this one as just looking 2+ and renting. I would put both tags on them. Because in that way, when you see it in the dashboard, when you put the just looking 2, you'll be able to quickly know that where they were, and you'll be able to, because we logged the call, you'll be able to see exactly when we had that conversation. And then you don't have to actually open up the lead to get an idea of what's going on. So it looks like we only have so I'm gonna do the just looking 1+ because we don't have a just looking 2+ in here. And then I'm gonna go with renting. Beautiful, now I gotta move my little window here. Done. That was a really good example of don't just let the conversation go when they say one thing, because chances are you lost them anyway, but I just have to know. Because if they were a year out, I mean, you'll probably all still be in real estate in a year, yeah?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and these leads, I mean, these are, we're in like, I don't remember, this one's 86 days ago.
Leave me a detailed message and I will call you.
I think the other one was definitely over 2 months as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to organize 5 leads so far because we're down to 17 and we started with 22.
Mm-hmm.
In what, like, because we didn't even start dialing until about 10 after. So in 20 minutes, we were able to get through.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's a good number. Name on voicemail. And my day hasn't changed. I'm still happy.
There you go.
All right, last one on the list. I wish we'd have more conversations, but it just goes to show you.
Design. Sorry, I missed your call.
It just goes to show you how quickly you can get through a list. All right, we finished that list.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to remove the filter. I'm going to hit pipeline. So if you want to follow my stride, I'm going to do pipeline, tried to contact, and I'm going to do phone. Validity, unknown valid. I'm going to go to at last activity. I'm going to pull leads within the last 30 days. And try to, I'm trying to find somebody I haven't called yet.
Sorry, it's muted. I think all these leads that you would have called because they all fell in the tried to contact pipeline that you just did.
Yep. Yeah, 4-8. So I've called all of these.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me look. Hang on. So there's only 66. Heck, I could call every one of her leads right now. All right, I'm just going to pull pipeline.
Let's just, that's the local board. Yes.
And then I'm going to do.
Karen, how are your thoughts on perhaps if we did people in the pipeline that have been made contact but haven't been active? There's 22
And
in
how
here.
confident are we in the notes? Because I don't want to create any. And potentially what's going to happen when we go into made contact, there's 22 in made contact.
Mm-hmm. And let's see how many are like over 30 days active.
I can call bye, Felicia. I'll call bye, Felicia.
I'm good at that. Just don't call
I
Rosa.
love that they use that.
Okay, so she says she's okay with us calling the people that she's made contact with, but let's say haven't been active. So right now, if you do made contact, last activity is not all leads within the last 30 days. There's 11 people in there.
All right, I'm just going to do, I have 22 people. I'm just going to show most recent last. So okay. I just sorted at the top.
Okay, so you just did made contact, show most recent last as far as activity goes? Okay.
And if they have, well, all right, that one, oh, they opted out of text. Yeah, I just have to be careful with the notes. So that one has an agent. Oh, I just called that one 9 minutes ago. That's why. Okay. Yeah, 66 leads. I could have dialed the whole dashboard in an hour. All right, let's see what we got here. So this one is in contacted. He said they changed their mind, but it's okay to KIT and check back next year. And that was on March 9th. So that was before, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to call him.
KIT means keep in touch.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I can't even say this name.
Shiva Yoganathan. I know. You wish they had just a shorter version of it and like Shiva.
Hello.
Hello there. This is Beverly. You had talked to Rashida a few weeks ago. You were looking at some homes, and I know that you've changed your mind, but I'm just wondering if you would appreciate updates as to what's going on with the market over the next few months, because we're in uncertain times right now, right? And I didn't know what your situation was exactly.
It's about the housing market, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh. No, we don't have any idea now.
Right. Well, I know you said you had changed your mind, and that they had offered to keep in touch, and just wondering what your current situation was and kind of why you changed your mind and what you're thinking for future plans.
I can't tell now. We all lost job and all that kind of things going on. So.
Yep. Yeah. Do you own a home now?
Sorry?
Do you own a home
sorry,
now?
We're a bit busy right now. Can you call back later?
I certainly can.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Well, how about that intervening on the phone?
That was weird.
I wonder if they were maybe in a car or
maybe.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
What has changed?
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
The boss took over.
We know who wears the pants in that family. So all I was trying to find out was if that very first conversation would have been more question oriented, we'd have had a little bit more information as to, okay, great, you changed your mind, but why? Mm-hmm. What happened that made you change your mind? Because this was all right before, so March 9th, that was the day after my daughter's birthday. Nothing was really going on with COVID then at that point. Because I was in Virginia, I was coming back from Virginia, I came back on the 11th, but by that next week is when everything kind of broke bad because my son's stuck in Virginia. And this is where we need to really get clear with the questions that we need to know. So when I say change my mind, it's like, oh, well, what happened? What's going on? Do you own now? Do you rent? Mm-hmm. Okay.
That comes into the more info you can grab, the more powerful you will be.
Yeah, if you have them on the phone, don't lose that opportunity. Okay, I am looking at Alyssa right now. Okay. I'm not seeing any notes that there was a conversation.
Well, she had opted out. The state unsubscribe on and following don't want. So she was probably just someone that she opted out, and then I guess the agent.
Yeah, and I can't even dial her through here. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was the call result that says opt out, do not call. So as soon as they log a call it's obviously they made contact with that person, but they don't want to have any kind of future conversation.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I guess that could technically maybe be somebody that you could trash.
Yeah, that would go in the garbage pipe, like the trash pipeline, because there's no way to contact this person.
Okay, this is a great one. Chakrish
mm-hmm.
Has not bought anything. He said he would call me back. Yeah, right. Rashida, has he called you back? And after we roll through this, mm-hmm. I'll give you the line to get past that one. All right, no answer.
It would have been Karen that is doing all this. It just shows that it's Rashida doing it, but it's actually Karen doing all this.
Okay. Can Karen I can't talk.
Karen isn't talking because she's muted everything because of the chaos surrounding her currently.
Karen, is it, would you be able to unmute to do a quick role play? You can just say yay or nay in the chat. I don't have the chat up. Did she say anything, Crystal?
She says, yeah, just hang on.
Okay, perfect.
Because how many times do you guys all hear that? Let me call you back. Right?
Yep.
I'll call you back when I'm ready. I always say they're not going to call you back.
Yep.
Like there's a very, 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 very slim chance that they will call you back, because what will end up happening is another realtor will just intervene while you're waiting for them to call you back.
Yep. Well, that's why I want to know, like, what the situation was, if she remembers this conversation on if they cut her off, because a lot of times they're like, I'm at work, I'll call you back. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And I just actually had this conversation happen yesterday. It was actually, I didn't know if I had a good number. It went to an office and the secretary wanted to put me on hold. I'm like, I ain't holding for no secretary if there ain't nobody that works there by this name. And I did. I said, she goes, can you please hold? And I said, honestly, I'm just looking for so-and-so, and I want to make sure I have a good phone number. She says, yeah, I have to put you into his voicemail. I said, okay, great. So I really didn't have to hold because she finished the conversation.
Yeah.
So is Karen unmuted? I see she's on here twice.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's two of them. I think Neha and Karen are both, but you might be using the same account. I don't know. Karen, are you able to unmute yourself? Or are you ready to? Let me. Okay, I invited you, but I don't know if your mic is working. Maybe not.
It's showing she's unmuted now. Where it was showing. Oh no, there she is.
Yeah.
Say something, Karen.
I don't think it's working.
Yeah, I don't think it's working either.
You'll have to, like, if you click on the microphone, just make sure that your mic, like, there's a little drop down, and just make sure that the microphone is selected to the current microphone in your computer.
So while she's doing this, I see another note. Rental lead, him plus his brother, cousin, and sister with baby. The parents sold their house, and the kids have till April 6th to find a place. Budget is $2,400 to $2,800. Currently live. So this is a rental lead.
Is that the same lead, or is that a different lead?
No, this is a different one. But great job on the notes. That is like banging. That makes me happy.
I always try to encourage everyone to leave your notes as if you're leaving them for somebody else. That way, you know, every minor detail that you may not think is major in the future is left there because you're not going to remember. Let's face it.
And what's cracking me up is this one has a by Felicia tag. So I don't know what happened after that conversation, but it's got a by Felicia. And I see a couple other notes on here too that
could have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a very limited budget, but looking for the Taj Mahal kind of thing, right? So I want this, this, and this, and this, and this, but I only have $1,500 a month.
And I'm actually going to put the renting tag on this one with the by Felicia. That one. If anybody would want to volunteer to role play, I am more than happy to role play with somebody on the let me call you back.
Yeah, like Ontario View for $400K. Yeah, like so Jody's saying, like they're looking for something that's like doesn't even exist, like a view home of the lake within $400,000, which is, you know, maybe if you were looking 20 years ago or 15 years ago, maybe 10, depending on how far, like which end of the lake you want to be on, right? But yeah, there's still some decent price properties. It's just a matter of how far out do you want to be from your, you know, your preferred location. All right, I have, who just came in here?
I think Karen did. She's calling in with her phone.
Okay. Oh.
She's to bounce out of her other login.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here.
Yay!
Okay.
Oh, now my dog's barking. Stop. Stop. No. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, Karen, you with us?
I'm here.
Awesome. So do you happen to remember that situation with the lead, or remember any situation where a lead had said, I'll call you back?
Yes.
What?
Yeah,
So,
Chakresh, I remember very specifically.
okay, and how did that go?
So I had one fantastic conversation with him. He gave me all the details of what he wanted to buy, all the details of what he was looking for and where. Like, I thought we were doing really, really well. I told him I would put together some information for him and call him back the following afternoon. We arranged a time, and I called him back, and first he didn't answer, so I tried again about 15 minutes later, and he said, yeah, it was really put off. It was like, yeah, listen, I can't talk right now, I'll have to call you back.
And you haven't called him back since?
I've called him a number of times. He's never taken my calls since.
And what was his name?
Chakresh.
So that was the one that I was looking at then.
Yes.
And I tried dialing that one, didn't I?
Yes.
No.
Answer.
Did you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In that situation, have you sent him a text?
I believe so.
And he hasn't responded to text either?
Correct.
You know, it's one of those things where unfortunately we can't win them all.
Right.
And I don't usually like to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you don't know what was going on in his life at that moment when he answered the phone. And
Sure.
In my experience, what happens is something's changed in his life and he's embarrassed and he doesn't want to talk. Dialing with a different phone number sometimes works.
Okay.
So I would try that and just say, hey, I just want to check in. Is something changed? I just want to make sure you're okay. I thought we had a great conversation. How would you like me to proceed?
Sure.
Because we don't know what's going on with people on the other end. And, where is that fine line? I would give them a couple more tries and then just chalk it up to move on next, because those leads can really suck up our mental ability of moving forward. Right.
Right.
So let's go ahead back to when someone picks up the phone and says, I'm at work, I'll call you back tonight. Have you had that?
Yes.
And how do you normally handle that?
I usually try to nail them down to a time.
Okay.
Like, okay, no problem. We can chat tonight. What time is best for you so I don't call in the middle of dinner? Would 7 o'clock work? Would 8:30 be better? Is it after you put the kids to bed? Or I always try to get a little bit more information.
Perfect. So we're going to go on a little bit. That works totally. But that puts more work on you then also, because now you have to call them back later, right? Because you're asking them. So what if we did something like this? So I want you to be I'll call you back later.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Karen.
Hi.
Hey, this is Beverly. I saw that you were looking at homes in the Vaughan area and just wanted to get an idea of what your current situation is.
Yeah, I am. I can't talk right now. Can I call you back tonight?
Absolutely. Just 2 fast questions, Karen. Are you thinking about making a purchase this year or next year?
Hopefully this year.
Perfect. And do you own or do you rent?
Currently own.
And when's the best time for me to call you back?
Let's say 7:30.
Okay. So now I know you're worth my call back.
Right.
Because I got a little bit more information. Because if you just said, I'm not really thinking about it, maybe 3 years and I'm in a lease term for a year. You'd be like, do I really want to call her back tonight? And it's really amazing when you push through how they stay and answer questions. So we have to be equipped with those questions, because we have to determine what's the most important thing for you to define a quality lead that's worth your time to call back that evening. Right. Because it's miserable chasing people. It's like when you tell somebody you're calling back that evening and you're like, oh, and yeah, we can mark them as an evening call, but we all know we're not as good and consistent with our evening calls as we are our day calls, right? So I like to save my evening calls for the high priority people. Was that helpful at all?
Yeah.
Good.
Quite.
Good. So are you the agent? So you're the ISA for Rashida?
Rashida and I are partners.
Okay.
She tends to spend most of her time dealing with her database because she's got a huge community database.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people she works with. I was her manager for like 15 years and decided to go into sales.
Okay.
So I'm almost like a newbie with 30 years experience. And so I'm dealing with the incoming leads on AgentLocator.
Wonderful. Well, you're doing a great job. I mean,
Nice.
it's rare that I jump in a dashboard and I'm like, oh, yay, look at those notes. Question. I'm looking at Betty, and I know the only reason you know these names is because you only have like so many leads in here. I'm looking at Betty, and there's a note that says, spoke to Betty. She said she's not interested.
What initials go before the comment?
TD.
Yeah, so that was an assistant that we had hired for a little while.
Okay.
And I don't know whether or not she ever actually called, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
So the ones that say KM is that I've actually made the phone call. I must have tried calling that lead after that.
So this is really interesting because I dial in AgentLocator dashboards for, I dial in multiples, and I've never seen opting out of phone calls. I've just never seen it. And that's why I had to ask, like, what is this? So I thought they opt out of text, but I couldn't dial it. And this chick's opted out, which is very weird to me, because if you just called and spoke and then she said she's not interested, why is there an opt out? Because it shows at 2:06 p.m. the note was made, but at 2:29 it was opted out. Crystal, does the lead opt out on their end, or do we have to opt them out?
No, there's two ways that can happen. So one, or actually three, I guess. So one, they respond to a text message saying stop. Just like any standard text message, you reply stop, it stops. And the other would be is if they were on the website itself where they're looking at the listings, they can check off SMS notifications, which then would also opt that out. Or if they log the call as the person opted out, meaning if that person said, do not call me ever again, then they can choose the opt out so that they know they've got a good number. It's just this lead doesn't want to be contacted.
Interesting, because I understand the opting out of text, but very rarely do people ever opt out of a phone call. And that's where I was like a little bit,
Well, they'll say, take me off your list, right? Just take me off your list. Then they opt them out.
This is opening up great conversation, because I never take somebody off the list, even if they say take me off the list, because they have every capability in their emails to unsubscribe on their own. And that's why it's so important to move them to contacted and tag them with the appropriate tag, so that you know exactly what is going on, because you never know what's going to change in their world as far as them needing your service. And if they log back in and they become active again, you may have a new lead because it's just a different time for them. So I never opt anybody out. And is there
email opt-out? I always tell people the same thing. Let them, there's a option for them to unsubscribe, but actions speak louder than words. Because how many times I'll see a note on someone's account and it says, oh, they're not interested. Or there's a tag saying not interested, yet they've looked at 300 listings and they were active just 2 days ago. Their actions are speaking louder than words in that scenario. They're obviously interested in the listing. So.
All right, here's what I'm going to shoot for. This was a March 5th call. Spoke to Malini, said she went with another agent. Let's just see. See, I like using these as a science experiment. It's like I'm not going in looking for an appointment, but the more knowledge we have and the more we can talk to people. Hello? Malini?
Yes?
Hey, this is Beverly. I'm just doing a quick check-in. You had been online and you were looking at some homes in the Vaughan area. And I just kind of wondered how your home search was going and what's happening in your world right now in this craziness.
Yeah, we just put it on hold right now due to this current situation.
Okay.
We might thinking like another September or October, like looking for the job. The properties, yeah.
Okay, and what is your current situation right now? Do you own a home or are you renting?
Own.
Okay.
Yeah, own.
And are you going to be selling that home or are you going to be keeping that home?
No, we are just going to sell the house and then buy it.
Awesome. And so, Malini, would it be okay if we follow up with you kind of like in that July, August timeframe? And maybe even keep you updated with what's happening with the market right now, because we really don't know what's going to happen. It might actually work to your benefit to be waiting to the fall.
Yeah, so you think like it will go up or go down, the market?
You know, so here's the thing. If you have a home to sell and you're going to make a purchase, it's all relative, right? Because you'll be buying low, but you'll be selling low. So if prices go up or down, it's really inconsequential. Because interest rates are more important really than home prices, because that's going to affect things more. And that's where we just really want to reach out to everybody and say, hey, you know, are you interested in updates right now over the next months? Because we could have some very dynamic changes in the next month or so. Because I mean, we have economy shifts, not just market shifts. You know, businesses are affected and people's jobs are affected, and so much going on of the unknown.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And are you just looking in that Vaughan area?
Yes. Yeah.
And where's your current home at now?
It's Scarborough.
Okay. Awesome. Well, what we'll do, Malini, I will have Rashida just update you every so often, just kind of a market general update, just so you can stay up to date with what's happening, okay?
Okay, yes, thank you.
You are so welcome. You have a wonderful afternoon.
You too, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Agent my Ash.
Now you just have to check in better than the other agent does. If she has this so-called agent, you just have to be one step ahead in providing that information.
Did you catch the area that she said her house was in?
Scarborough.
No.
Scarborough.
She said Scarborough. I had a hard time hearing her altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a little bit quiet and fading in and out, but I'm pretty confident she said Scarborough.
I'm going to kill the spelling out of it. Is C-A-R-B-O-R?
O-U-G-H.
Okay. So that has potential to be a double ender. And what I'm encouraging my clients to do right now, Karen, is I've created a separate label on market update. And I've asked my clients to actually create a video once a month and just text out, email out, whatever your technology allows you to do, just updating them, not just on the housing market, but on what's happening to the businesses and what's happening in the community. And it's been so powerful to have these conversations with people, because never before have we been able to call leads and have something in common and nobody knowing what's going on. Everybody's in the unknown. But if you're your own newscaster and you're helping them understand and helping to eliminate that fear, you're going to be able to create that value through this time. And then they're going to trust you at the end. Because I will guarantee you, if she was working with another agent, that agent is not going to be following up. I promise you. And I don't ever have a hard time following up with somebody that's casual follow-up like this, because honestly, at the end of the day, if she had committed to somebody and they put it on hold, they'll tell you when you get to the end, but how much time does it really take if you're creating a video and you're sending it to the masses? It's only one person. And you have that opportunity to create value.
Yep.
So I put September, October timeframe, her home. And how is that kind of the same location as Vaughan?
No.
Same location, no, but we can very easily work Scarborough as well.
So I would also offer her listing and market updates. So I would say this time next month, it would be worth a phone call to say, hey, Melanie, I just want to check in with you. I want to send you a market report on Scarborough just so you know what's going on with the prices on where you're selling. And then I'm also going to give you an update on kind of what's happening in the Vaughan market as well. And just try and get her address.
Okay.
And ideally, you could have essentially done that on the call if she was willing to give you an address and get her on the street match or the COVID landing page, right? So then you just set it and you forget it. It just automatically sends her the listings that come up in her neighborhood and the sale prices because you guys are on the Trev board.
And it actually works to the benefit if you don't do it the first time, because then you have that reason of following up. Because remember, Crystal, we were on a previous webinar and people are like, well, what do I say to people when I call them back? What do I do when I call them back? If you give them too much information at first phone call, you have really no reason to call them back. But if you're general and you get an idea and you have the warm up, it's kind of like that dating. Like you're just going to, it's going on a second date and a third date, and you just get a little bit more information every time you have those conversations. I'll put my name on here so you know that I did talk to her. So I'm going to go ahead and make you a new label. I'm going to move my little window here. All right, add new tag. It's going to be called Market Update, and I'm going to make it bright pink. And I will put the market update on her, and I'm going to take off the has agent. And where did I put it? LMMMM. I know I saved that sucker. Maybe I didn't. I'm getting a lot of, well, I'm on hold right now, and it is, it's kind of like, well, no kidding. There it is.
Are you trying to apply stuff? Like they're doing like updates to the system sometimes, and then it just like decides to not be as swift.
Yeah, well, I added the tag and then it wasn't there, so I had to add it again. No.
Oh. You're like, what happened?
All right, so Scarborough. Okay. So I did set a task too for you so you don't lose her, but I put the market update label on her. And then I'll just set the task for May 4th.
Okay.
Bingo. Well, that was a win.
Right.
So now you kind of know, Karen, go back and look through those notes and just make those phone calls, because I love when they say they have an agent, because if you just check in a month later, go, hey, I'm just checking in to see how your home search is going. You get a completely different story. It's really incredible how that happens. And especially if they've put it on hold, usually the agents don't follow up. So there's always gold mines in the has agent. Fabulous. Well, thank you for letting me play in your dashboard.
Thank you for playing in our dashboard.
You're so welcome. Do we have, I know we're a little bit over time. Crystal, is there any questions or comments that we need to go over before we jump?
I don't really see any, no. They were just confirming the Fix Your CRM is the Facebook group. Yeah, and that is really it. There wasn't really, it was a lot of just people taking it all in, I think, today for the most part.
Wonderful.
So,
yeah,
I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, there's nothing on Facebook either. So we are all good. Good to go.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I will see you all later.
You are very welcome. And thanks everyone for joining. And I think we're doing this again next week just because we had a delay. So we'll be finding someone else to call. Yes. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.